Minister, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Jessica.
UNESCO is threatening to list the Great Barrier Reef as in danger. How confident are you that that can be avoided?
Well, Jessica, no one in the world cares more about the Great Barrier Reef than Queenslanders. For many of us, it's in our backyard. It's right there on our doorstep, whether that's our farmers in the catchments or our mayors, councillors and their communities along the length and breadth of the reef. So I know Queenslanders, more than anyone, are passionate about ensuring that we protect it.
So how confident are you that it can be avoided?
Well, that's ultimately up to UNESCO, but we will be working with those communities, with those people on the ground, with the federal government to ensure that we avoid that.
UNESCO has acknowledged the work and the effort being made, but it's also called for you to be more ambitious. Are you prepared to be more ambitious?
Well, I'm the guy that was in this role over a decade ago when we took a very ambitious step and sat down and said, we don't want to work against our farmers, we actually want to work with them. We established best management practice programs with our cane farmers, with our graziers, and they've since been expanded to the horticultural industry. And I get the sense that over the last decade that I haven't been in the job, some of those interactions with our landholders in particular have probably not progressed the way they should have. So I'm keen to get back working with our farmers in particular to ensure that we're doing everything we can, but importantly, looking at the whole of the catchment as well. We're very ambitious and there's potentially more that we can do too in that space.
That's my question, I guess. Do you need to do more in terms of crack down even further on pesticide and fertiliser use or crack down on land clearing? Do you need to do more in that space?
Well, I think it's more about working with our landholders than cracking down. It's about incentive. But I think there is more that we can do. I also have the honour of serving as the Tourism Minister. And in your program, you demonstrated what our scientists are doing around more heat-resistant coral and looking at how that sits in the reef. We know that a number of our tourism operators would love to offer that experience to people coming and visiting the reef. They want to get out there in that regenerative tourism and be a part of the solution.
The scientific consensus is that human-induced climate change is the overriding threat to the Great Barrier Reef. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Well, that's what the literature all says, and you can't refute that.
I guess the reason why I ask is that in 2012, you said that you were a bit sceptical and still to be convinced about the degree to which humans are influencing climate change. Is that still your position?
It's interesting that that comment was taken the way it was. I very much believe in climate change and am confident that the science is right.
And that humans are influencing it. So then in terms of climate change policies, the LNP government has committed to net zero emissions by 2050. How are you going to achieve that?
Well, the good thing is we're on track already. The Treasurer and the Minister for Energy is currently reviewing our energy roadmap moving forward. We've made it clear that we want to deliver net zero by 2050, but we also want a path that means we have affordable, reliable and sustainable energy, and the Treasurer is working on that as we speak.
And you're working with him on that as Environment Minister?
Yes.
How big a role will renewable energy play?
Well, that has a very important role, and despite some of the conversations that are occurring around the state, renewables will continue to play and will increasingly play a strong role in our energy mix.
Because so far a couple of big projects, wind farms for example, have been knocked on the head. That sort of seems to suggest a certain direction around wind farms and the government's policy on that.
Not at all. At the same time, a number have been approved and are progressing because they've demonstrated that they're working with the local communities to get beneficial outcomes for that broader community.
At the recent LNP state convention a couple of weeks ago, there was a vote that the federal coalition should abandon net zero policies. Did you vote in that?
I was present, but as you rightly pointed out in that question, that was a motion that was directed to the federal parliamentary wing.
So you didn't cast a vote?
I watched with interest as to the discussion and the outcome.
What did you make of it?
Very clearly that there was some direction given by our party members to our federal colleagues in this matter.
That would be in contradiction to where the state stands.
Well, I don't have an issue with that, given it was a motion about the federal parliamentary wing. We as a state have been very clear in our commitment to deliver on net zero by 2050.
Well, what's your message to the federal coalition on what their position should be?
I think what we've demonstrated at the Queensland level is you can have a goal, but you also can take the people of Queensland on that journey, as long as you ensure you've got that affordability and that reliability. We saw under the previous Labor government that in their rush to achieve certain targets, in particular interim targets, that we weren't getting reliable or affordable energy. We were seeing our coal-fired power stations not maintained. We also saw that a number of renewable energy proponents did not take their communities on that journey. So we've made it very clear that we support the renewable energy market, but we want them to work with the communities in which they're operating.
Andrew Powell, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Jessica.